Good morning, Uday and Bhargav. Today is Thursday, the 21st of December, and our production to our clients consisted of a total of 81 issues today. I will be briefing you on the major issues of our production.
Hey, Mithma, thank you. Can we please move on to the major issues, please?
Of course, in the East Asia Pacific, we covered a total of 41 issues. I'm covering the top 4 of the 41 issues today. In Papua New Guinea, the National Court lifted restraining orders, allowing the government to resume negotiations for the Wafi Golpu project, which is valued at 5.11 billion US dollars. This decision followed a notice of motion by incorporated land groups claiming a breach of their constitutional rights. In another development, the Porgera gold mine, also in Papua New Guinea, is set to reopen under the new Porgera Limited tomorrow. This is following the signing of an amendment to the new Porgera Project Start Agreement. We covered this as our major development in the Australasia and Pacific Islands roundup today.
Thanks, Mithma. Let's keep a close eye on this, on whether the reopenings actually occur or whether it's just more delays as has been happening over the last year. Thanks.
Of course, Uday. Moving on to Indonesia, the Counterterrorism Special Detachment 88, also known as Densus 88, has arrested a total of 142 terrorist suspects in the country this year. These suspects were associated with various different groups, and these included the Jama Ansharut Daulah, Ansho Daulah, Jama Ansharusi Syria, and the Islamic State of Indonesia, as well as former members of the Islamic Defenders Front mass organization. These groups are said to employ various methods to collect their funds. One method involved using foundation funds, and these funds were then sent to the ISIS in the form of cryptocurrency. Additionally, other terror groups have also used fundraising through social action modes and social media to support their activities.
Thanks, Mithma. Terror groups continue to be active despite the threat of terrorism decreasing, and right now authorities are on alert for potential terror attacks over the Christmas period and the upcoming elections, which is a real threat. So let's keep an eye out on this. Thanks.
Of course, Uday. Also in Indonesia, we have a report where at least 60 people, which includes 37 civilians and 23 military personnel, were killed in attacks by the West Papua National Liberation Army in Papua this year. Additionally, TPNPB attacks left 84 people injured, including 24 military personnel, 7 police officers, and 50 civilians. These incidents were mainly widespread across Intan Jaya, Yahukimo, Nuduga, and Bintang Mountains regencies.
Great. So the trend line of increasing violence since 2020 continues. And going into 2024, we're going to see the TPNBP trying to conduct more attacks and be louder. So let's keep following this up, especially in the highlands, and updating our clients if there's any movements towards major resource projects. Thanks.
Yes, they will continue to keep our clients informed. Moving on to Timor-Leste, the authorities are enhancing security measures in Delhi to prevent violence and public disturbances during Christmas and New Year celebrations. They will install checkpoints and conduct patrols in various key areas. These will include Komoro, Kampang Baru, Bibonuk, Bito, Lahane, Taibesi, and Bikora, and several other regions.
Great. So the Christmas and New Year period in Timor-Leste, there's a lot of people drinking. Sometimes that leads to alcohol-fueled fights, and we could see the activity of martial arts gangs also. So let's keep an eye out for that. Thanks, Mithma.
Thank you for those insights today. Now, moving on to South Asia, we covered a total of 23 issues. I will be covering the major development that we covered today. In India, at least 5 Maoist insurgents were injured during clashes with security forces in the forested areas of Nagaram and Kottapalli in Chhattisgarh yesterday. Security forces were conducting anti-Maoist raids in the area when the clashes broke out. Authorities managed to recover various explosives and other incriminating materials during these clashes. Following the attack, Maoists set fire to multiple vehicles, including a passenger bus, and blocked National Highway 30 30 in the Sukma district. No injuries were reported from this arson attack, and paramilitary forces were deployed in the highway following the incident. An operation is currently underway to find and eliminate the perpetrators. We covered this as the major development today.
All right. So the Maoist issue continues to be a major security concern for the state of Chhattisgarh, and it is likely that there'll be an increase in attacks by the Maoists, especially in the Sukma region. Paramilitary forces such as CRPF, Central Reserve Police Force, continues to be deployed in this area. And historically speaking, we have seen an increase in attacks during the state and general elections, especially targeting the polling booths and officials of election commission when they're traveling in this area. And the same could be noticed in 2019 elections as well. So please monitor the situation. We cannot rule out an expansion in target area outside of Chhattisgarh as well. Some of the neighboring states are also vulnerable, such as Gadchiroli in eastern Maharashtra, parts of Telangana, as well as Orissa.
Thank you, Bhargav. We'll continue to monitor these regions, especially ahead of the elections. Now, moving on to the EMEA region, we covered a total of 17 developments. I will be covering the top 2 of the 17 issues that we discussed today. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Independent National Electoral Commission yesterday extended voting by a day. Voting is expected to end today in the evening, and the Electoral Commission said that the extension was prompted by delays in opening of polling stations, inadequate electoral materials, and insecurity. Protests over delays in voting took place in several places around the country, including Kinshasa. We conveyed this to our clients via an advisory message today.
Please continue to monitor the election process and integrate with the team to help them with their operations. Thank you.
Of course, Bhargav. In Burkina Faso, we have 4 French civil servants that have been detained by authorities in Ouagadougou. The military-led government accuses the 4 of espionage. However, other sources claim that the 4 are wrongfully accused of espionage and that they traveled to Burkina Faso to carry out maintenance of information technology systems of the French embassy.
All right. So the tensions with the French continue in Africa. So we had expected this and briefed our clients accordingly. Let's continue to monitor this. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Bhargav. Do we have any further comments?
Nothing further from my end. Thank you, Mithma.
Thanks, Mithma.
Thank you, Uday and Bhargav.